My wife has Graves' disease. Let that be clear. I don't want her to have to work. So I was like, look, I will pay you what you was getting at your job. I pay you that every Friday if you just stay home, take care of the house. And she take real good care of the house. I keep up my part. I clock in, I clock in, I clock in, and I clock in. I go get that bread, and I make sure that we are always straight. The truth about being 100% financial provider.
That sounds so caring, right? And loving. And it probably is. But here's where we need to pause, right? And that's not how God designed marriage, is it? We don't pay our spouse. Did you catch that piece? We don't pay our spouse. We share everything. Marriage is a covenant, not a contract. Unfortunately, I've seen so many couples who seem to have a contract rather than a marriage. You do this, I'll do that. You cover this, I cover that. It's almost like you're entering in this transactional marriage where you are deciding where is this idea of us and we and ours? Where did that go? I can tell you that's a recipe many times for disaster. Because when you get into this mine and yours, my account, my car, your car, that is pushing away from this idea of becoming one. And the Bible says when you get married, the two shall become one flesh. This is a oneness that many times is not there. And I understand his heart because, like he said, his wife has Graves' disease and he want her to really be healthy and live a very long time. But there's other ways to say that, right? You don't say, I pay you. No. If you choose to stay home, right? Again, if you choose to stay home, I would strongly suggest that that's what it should sound like. And if you so choose, don't worry, I'll cover everything. You don't have to worry. I make sure our finances are okay, and you don't have to worry about that. That's a different tone, isn't it? Ephesians 5, verse 25 says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and he gave himself for it, right? So what Jesus did, he sacrificed, right? He gave himself as a sacrifice. So that love, as we just saw and heard, isn't what Christ did. Right. This is more transactional. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm knocking this brother. I really love his heart and his spirit. I love his attitude, but I want to make sure that we keep things in balance, right? So Christ's love is a sacrificial love. That is what husbands ought to do for their wives. Having said that, he now drops some truth bombs, which husbands need to take heed, but at the same time, overlooks a very important aspect of his role. Here's a general rule of thumb. Men provides and protects. Women nurture. That's a general rule. So men are wired to provide. God wired us that way. But when that drive turns into nonstop work, something is off. It's off because even God says, 6 days you shall labor, and on the seventh day you shall rest. God Himself, in creation, He worked 6 days in creating and He rested on the seventh day. Not that God needed rest, but it's a model for us. A model for us when He tells us work six and off one, 7 days. It's a recipe for disaster and burnout and also fatigue and leads to a shortness of emotions, right? Where people tend to go really like because they're so fatigued, things happen and they say things that they never meant to because again, you're tired. According to Proverbs 14, verse 1, the wise woman or wife builds her house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands. You are the neck that turns the head, so turn it carefully and gently, but firmly. Use charm, use wisdom and prayer and impact or influence your husband in the ways that we have talked about so that he can be present with you as well. Now, what you've heard me and the direction you've heard me go today is simply what I do, and we'll be talking about in the Joyful Marriage Quest. It's just a small portion of that. And so, again, I want to encourage you to join the wait list, right? And when you do join the wait list, remember I have a free booklet for you, Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel like they're doing it all. And you'll also be invited to my upcoming webinar, How to Reconnect with Your Husband Without Feeling Like You're the Only One Trying. And so I want to also encourage you to, if you've not yet subscribed, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button, the like button. And I also want to encourage you to watch this video right here that's coming up right here. Watch this video right here and share this one with at least one other person like yourself. That's what this is all about. So thank you for taking the time to watch. May God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless. Peace out.